Hello and welcome to my AVZINE channel. My name's Aidan O'Rourke. Are we still a German city? Do we still know that we're a German city? Who was it that said those words referring to Manchester? It was Tony Wilson, who interviewed me and two other guests on Radio Manchester in 2007. We're going to hear an excerpt from that interview in which Tony talks about his own German ancestry.
Whose family is here because my grandfather left southern Germany in the late 19th century, and the fact that Manchester was the great German city.
Yes, in Manchester there is a big German influence, but that influence has been kept hidden due to ignorance and prejudice. Ignorance and prejudice are rooted in the minds of certain Westminster politicians who, in my opinion, are not fit to be in public office. This video and the accompanying article on my aiden.co.uk site are an attempt to inform and educate people by telling a forgotten story about the history and identity of Manchester. This is a new version edited from an older video, now with text on screen for educational and disability reasons. This video is in English. I've pronounced the names German style. We'll start with an amazing aerial view I took in 2006 from a balloon over North Manchester.
Manchester, a city in northwest England. A British city with international and European influences. A city where migration has played a key role. The name Albert is famous all over the UK. Streets, buildings and monuments are named after him. But how many people know where he came from? Prince Albert of Sachsen-Coburg und Gotha was born in 1819. He married Queen Victoria and became Prince Consort. Sadly, he died in 1861 at the age of 42. His birthplace, Schloss Rosenau, now in Bavaria near the former East German border, is open to the public and I intend to visit. Round the corner from Albert Square you'll find Albert's Schloss, a self-proclaimed palace of Bavarian and Bohemian-inspired food and drink. It's on the ground floor of the Albert Hall on Peter Street. Opposite Albert Schloss is the Free Trade Hall, former home of the Halle Orchestra, founded by Sir Charles Halle. Karl Halle was born in the town of Hagen, now in the federal state of Nordrhein-Westfalen. He changed his name to Halle, with an accent on the E so people wouldn't call him Mr. Hall. He founded the Halle Orchestra in 1858 and brought many German musicians over from Germany. He had a distinguished career and his gravestone is in Weest Cemetery, Salford. In the 19th century, immigrants came from Germany to Manchester. Friedrich Engels was born in Barmen, Wuppertal in 1820. He came to Manchester to work in the family textile business. He studied the English working class and wrote Die Lage der arbeitenden Klasse in England, the condition of the working class in England.
And now we'll listen to the late Tony Wilson on Radio Manchester in May 2007, telling me and two other guests about the German influence in Manchester.
Whose family is here because my grandfather left southern Germany in the late 19th century, and the fact that Manchester was the great German city. The Halle Orchestra was founded by the Germans in this town, and in fact it was much to my shock when I did a documentary about 20 years ago when I discovered that you would only hear German spoken in the cocktail bar at the Halle. You wouldn't hear English spoken. Are we still a German city? Do we still know that we're a German city?
As far as evidence of a German presence in Manchester from the 19th century, I see very little. But as I was showing...
Except in Stuart Maconie's book, he talks about, when he does his Manchester, this is the book I'm raving about at the moment, he says this is the city that changed the world because this was the city where Engels was working and Marx came to meet him and sat in that little corner booth of Chetham's Library and wrote the Communist Manifesto.
Yeah, that's true. But in terms of walking around the city, there's not very much evidence.
You wouldn't know it.
But Danzig Street, over near the co-op area, that's one interesting sort of German city, or ex-German city. And when I was showing the photographer Erasmus Schroeter around yesterday, I gave him a guided tour of Manchester, and we went past Radium Street in Ancoats, and Radium Street used to be called German Street, and they changed the name during the First World War to Radium Street. He found that quite funny.
Did you know this was a German city, or used to be? Don't be embarrassed because I.
Not at all, no.
Don't be embarrassed because I come from the German diaspora here, but I had no idea about it until I was about 35 years old.
In 2017, a statue of Friedrich Engels was brought from Ukraine to Manchester. It stands in front of Manchester's Home Arts Centre. Hans Reinhold was born in 1852 in Aarau, west of Zurich, in the German-speaking part of Switzerland. He came to Manchester and founded Reinhold Chain. The Reinhold Building in Manchester University is named after his son, Sir Charles Reinhold. Reinhold is a worldwide company and its head office is near Manchester Airport. Siemens is a German company that is a major player in the UK. You'll find the Siemens name in many places, including the doors of these trains. Simon is a name familiar to people from Manchester. Henry Simon and Simon Carves are prominent local companies. In Wythenshawe you'll find Simon's Way, and in Manchester city centre, Sheena Simon campus of the Manchester College. So where does the name come from? It doesn't sound very German. Gustav Heinrich Victor Amandus Simon was born in 1835 in the Prussian town of Brig, now Brzeg in Poland. He moved to Manchester, changed his name to Henry Simon, and founded Simon Carves and Simon Engineering. He revolutionised the British flour industry. His son, Ernest Simon, 1st Baron Simon of Wythenshawe, was a politician and former Lord Mayor of Manchester. His wife, Lady Simon, was a politician, feminist and educationalist. He bought Wythenshawe Hall and donated it to the city in 1926. On the estate, a new town was built named Wythenshawe. With its wide roads and yellow trams, I think it looks like Germany. I think the Simon's Way sign should have information about Ernest Simon. I made a version in Photoshop. Only a short distance away in West Didsbury are Mary Louise Gardens, given to the city by Mrs. Zilkenstadt in memory of her daughter. The gardens have a special atmosphere, like other parts of West Didsbury. Here, many German musicians, industrialists and scientists made their home in the 19th century. The name Palatine Road recalls Rhineland-Pfalz, although that's not the origin of the name. The River Irwell has a Germanic name. In German, irre means crazy, hence meandering. Welle means wave or water, so the irre Welle, the crazy wave, might be the origin of Irwell, though it's not certain. Anglo-Saxon migrants brought their Germanic language to England from around the 5th century onwards, and it eventually became the language I'm using now, English. And if you're interested in learning German, go to aidan.co.uk/German. There is a large German community living in the Manchester area today, and many attend the Martin Luther Kirche in Stretford. In Stockport, on the A6, there's an intriguing sign on a row of cottages. German buildings. Where does the name come from? I'd love to know. In the Edgeley district of Stockport, there are streets named after European capitals, including Berlin and Vienna. In central Manchester, there's an area called Brunswick. That's the anglicised name for the German city of Braunschweig in North Germany. Brunswick Street runs from Ardwick to Manchester University, where it was turned into a park. So where does the name come from? Caroline of Brunswick was Queen Caroline, Queen of Great Britain, Ireland and Hanover from 1820 to 1821. She has a remarkable story. On Brunswick Street, now Brunswick Park, on the Manchester University campus, there's the Simon Building, named after Henry Simon, and the Schuster Building, named after Arthur Schuster, a physicist of German origin. He was born in Frankfurt in 1851 and became Professor of Applied Physics at Manchester University. Another German physicist was Hans Geiger, born in Neustadt an der Hart in 1882. He worked with Ernest Rutherford and gave his name to the Geiger counter. He's not to be confused with the Austrian Kurt Geiger, who founded the shop of the same name in London in 1963. Other German-sounding high street names are Deichmann, the biggest shoe retailer in Europe, founded by Heinrich Deichmann and based in Essen. Schuh, is a British company founded in 1981 in Scotland. They chose the German spelling of shoe, I wonder why. And remember, when you shop at Spar, they're telling you to save. Spar was founded in the Netherlands, and the word Spar in Dutch or Spar in German means save. Not far from Piccadilly Station is Elbe Street, next to Raven Street. Elbe Street is named after the wide, magnificent river Elbe, one of the great rivers of Europe, which flows through Dresden and Hamburg. Elbe Street in Manchester is neither wide nor magnificent. The origin of the name is a mystery I'd love to solve. The German influence is mostly invisible and is often even hushed up. Danzig Street crosses Hanover Street. The House of Hanover produced 5 of Britain's monarchs, from George I to Queen Victoria. At the end of Hanover Street is Victoria Station, where you'll find a large 19th century map of the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway. In the far top right are the names of German cities on the other side of the North Sea, which was once called the German Ocean. Stettin, now Szczecin in Poland, Hamburg and Bremen. In those days, you could travel by train to Goole or Hull and by ship direct to Germany. In the 19th and 20th centuries, many Jewish people came from Germany and Central Europe to Manchester via this route. They brought their customs, German-sounding names and Yiddish language, which is closely related to German. And at Manchester's other mainline railway station, Piccadilly, there are multilingual signs. The one in German says, Willkommen bei Metrolink, welcome to Metrolink. From here, it's just a short tram ride to the Christmas markets held in November and December. At the Christmas markets, you can enjoy food and drink from Germany. There's plenty of Weihnachtsstimmung, Christmas atmosphere. The Christmas markets are on Albert Square, where we began.
And there are more influences. Take a look at the article on my aiden.co.uk site. And if you're learning German or would like to, go to aiden.co.uk/German. And if you're learning English, this video should be helpful. There's a PDF with script, side-by-side translation and follow-up assignments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Vielen Dank und auf Wiedersehen in Manchester.